Hey, welcome to Brokenomics. Robin here. Today we're talking about the Polkadot Parachain Slot Auctions. Yes, Polkadot is finally ready to launch the Parachains. A date has been confirmed, the 11th of November. From that point onwards, it's going to start. If you have Polkadot staked in the Polkadot ecosystem, you might want to unstake it because it can take up to 28 days. But rest assured, there are many rounds of auctions coming up, so you're still on time if that is the case. Many of us have been waiting for this moment. It has been a point of discussion within our Telegram group, and the question now is, you know, in which projects are we going to crowdloan in, and how to decide that. And in this video, that's exactly what we want to cover. And if you stick till the end, you might be in it for a gift. We'll be giving away 2 DOT tokens or the equivalent $100 worth in DOT tokens. So stick till the end so you know how to get hold of those. Why I'm doing this is because Polkadot launched a new feature last week in which you can gift anyone, even if they're not familiar with Polkadot or even if they don't have a Polkadot GS wallet yet, the DOT token. Very simple with a link, and this is great for the exposure to new audiences. The timing with the Parachain Slot Auctions is great, but also let's say you want to give someone crypto with Christmas, and you don't want to go to all the hassle of explaining how to use a Bitcoin or Ethereum wallet. You can just use this feature and give them DOT, which is quite cool. Another reason why everyone is so interested in the Parachain Slot Auctions on Polkadot is not just because it's Polkadot and everyone has been waiting for it for a long time, but also because a few months ago, Polkadot's Canary network, its cousin network, basically the experimental blockchain of the Polkadot ecosystem, launched their Parachains, and some of them did really, really well. So you can see here the main projects, and I did a video on that 4 months ago, how to invest in these Parachain slot auctions on Kusama. If you don't know how to participate in any of these slot auctions, it's a great watch, just watch it. And I invested in those 4 projects I just showed, the main ones. And we can see here more or less what the returns are. On the left side, you can see the investment in Kusama, KSM token, had to stake it. The staking period is whenever a Parachain slot auction wins, is 48 weeks. So for 48 weeks, I can't get hold of my initial investment. However, in return, I got the project token. And some of it is vested, others aren't. So we're looking a little bit at paper gains here. But rest assured, you could take your profits and basically be free rolling these investments, right? One project that did really well was Moonriver. It's like an 11.6, almost a 12x from what I invested in there as a crowd loan. So this gives you an example of what's possible with these crowd loans, and that's why a lot of people are extra bullish on these crowd loans. So to come back to Polkadot, it's trading at around $45. So just to give you an example, if you still want to buy Polkadot, what it could mean for you, and to quickly recap how the slot auctions work, because not all of you might know how it works, right? The thing you just have to know is it's a 7 days period in which the slot auction takes place. The first 2 days, they don't count towards whoever can win in that period of time. The last 5 days, they are counting. So in those last 5 days of the 7 days, there will be an auction based on a randomly selected time, and whichever project at that time had the most contributed in a crowd loan will win the auction. So that's it, right? So there's a 7 day period, really. And it could mean that not the project wins with the most backing, right? So that's possible. So it's quite important to basically back projects as quickly as possible so that they have the most backing earlier on in that process. But if you want to know more about it, just watch that video on the Kusama Parachains that I've done 4 months ago. Going into what the schedule looks like for Polkadot. Because these slot auctions are going in a 7 days period, so you expect them to go one after another, and this is exactly what happens for the first 5 weeks. You will have 5 auctions following each other up, and if you look at the dates, the 11th of November it starts, and then there's an ending period on the 13th, and this is exactly similar to what I just showed in that graph. Then there is a bidding that ends on the November, so this is the last 5 days in which really is decided who wins. And then the winning parachain is onboarding on the 17th of December. So unlike on Kusama, where after the winner was announced, they are immediately onboarded. There's a few weeks gap here, basically, for projects to prepare, I believe. But what that does mean for you, because you might think, okay, what does it matter? Well, if you are a type of investor that wants to take the proceeds, returns from one project and put it into another, this might not be very helpful for you, right? So keep that in mind, to just not rely on maybe expected returns from one project to put in another. So if especially if there is one project coming up that you're actually more interested in, make sure that you've got dots for that to take part in the parachain. And then after those 5 weeks, there will be a little break, and then the second batch of auctions will happen, and these auctions will go on a 2 weeks cadence. Okay, so whenever you invest your DOT token in these parachains and your project is winning, your DOT will be locked for 96 weeks instead of the 48 weeks which we're used to from the Kusama parachains. So that is almost 2 years. And for many, 2 years is a very long time, right? So let's now talk about 2 projects that we know of will be participating in these Parachain slot auctions from the start. One of them is Acala. On Kusama they launched as Karura. They're the utility token that powers the DeFi hub of the Polkadot ecosystem. They are leaders in this Polkadot ecosystem space. So remember DeFi, and we've got Moonbeam with the Glimmer token, and the Glimmer token is the utility token of the Moonbeam network. The primary deployment of Moonbeam will be on the Polkadot network, and that associated token will be called Glimmer. Think here about smart contracts, right? So we have in one hand a DeFi project, Acala, and they do something very cool. They will enable the possibility for you to do liquid crowdloaning. You get a derivative which enables participants to stay liquid while staking in a crowd loan. The way they do it is by giving you a token for your crowd loan participation. They call it the LC dot token. It's kind of a synthetic representation of your dots that is staked, and you can freely use that on their DeFi platform and potentially even gain more LC dot tokens, which then let you redeem more of the dot token that you have staked, right? And this is great because obviously 96 weeks is a very long period of time to have your tokens locked. So if you could do anything with that, that would be great, right? So they are able to give you that option. They also have something really cool called Acala Quests, in which you can do missions to explore parts of their DeFi hub and stuff, which then gives you more allocations towards the crowd loan, which is a really cool thing to engage, I believe. From the Moonbeam Glimmer token, there's not that much information yet. You can pre-register via their website. You need some DOT in your wallet to do that because it's basically signing a transaction, a very tiny amount. But that makes sure that you showed your interest, because sometimes these crowd loans can reach their cap, right? So make sure that you are early in these projects. One interesting thing about Moonbeam is that it's very restrictive. They don't allow certain countries like the US, China, etc. Which means actually that there might be less participants, and that could maybe mean that your returns might be bigger. Could be one of the reasons why the Moonriver token did so well, because maybe there were less people invested in it from the community. There's one other thing to look at whenever you are going to stake into these crowd loans, and that is obviously the tokenomics, right? Is there something in the tokenomics that could be an incentive to partake? And if we look at the Acala the Acala distribution of the tokens, we can see that like almost 50% is allocated towards the community. But then within that 50%, they have like a 10% which is called foundation reserves, and that can be used to create further incentives to participate in the crowd loan. And if we compare that to Moonbeam, we can see there that they have something which is called the Parachain bond funding, and that's 15% from the tokens, and some of that can be used for rewards for crowd loan participants. So it's worth looking into that to find projects that maybe have a higher allocation towards this, because it could mean that if you then sign up, you can get early participation bonuses or referral bonuses, and that could definitely add up to your profits. In terms of strategy plays, what is the best strategy here? Should I go for Acala or should I go for Moonbeam? I would say they're both great projects, right? If you're more into investing in DeFi projects, you might want to go with Acala. I think the benefit of Acala is that you've got this liquid staking, right? But then on the other hand, the Moonbeam network has shown great returns with Moonriver token on Kusama. So that's definitely an interesting play, and then you will be invested into a network utility token. So what I would suggest is maybe invest in both. So you've got the liquid staking of Acala that can offset some of your staked tokens in Moonbeam that are staked there for 96 weeks, which is quite a long period of time. That's the way I would approach it, but do your own research. And here are two future projects we definitely will be keeping an eye on. Astar, which is the equivalent of Shiden, that launched on the Kusama network. It's considered, among the top 3 of projects to look at for Polkadot Parachain Slot Auctions. And then we've got Unique, which is very interesting. Ian is going to do a video on that this Friday, and it's just for you guys to see what we are interested in. We're back to the giveaway. So how can you win? Well, there are 2 things you need to do. One is you just subscribe to the channel, click on the bell notification, so you will be notified whenever we announce a winner via the community post on YouTube. And secondly, like this video and comment with either your Twitter handle or your Telegram handle. And before the end of before the start of the Parachain Slot Auctions, I will select the winner and reach out to them via their Twitter handle with this nice little gift link from Polkadot. See you in the next one.